if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at that sign.
Good.
Okay, we're
You're
on.
good.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order, November 18th for the canvassing of votes, and we'll forego the Pledge of Allegiance and note that we've got 4 of the 5 commissioners here. Okay, I'll turn it over to Jamie.
Okay, so this is our canvas of the November 5th general election. I had put out there our current results as it stands prior to canvass, and I just need all of you to sign that one. We kind of stayed within our normal range of 62 to 65% usually in a presidential election year. So
that's good.
Yeah, so we stayed in there. Obviously, you saw the lines within the city-county building. It just changed how people showed up, as whether they were at the polls or they came in early. So we did have an increase in the early turnout for this election. So we're going to go through each one of these reasons. Feel free to ask questions if you have some. I don't know if you want to make a yes vote at the end of all the yeses, or if you want to do each category together.
Just do it at the end of the yeses.
Okay. All right. So, so we have the first one is moved within county. Those are 237 of those. None of those are partial counts. And then we have failed to provide a voter ID. So, anytime they don't provide the photo ID at the polls, we do call them just. Even though they get a receipt that tells them when to bring it in, we also call them and say, hey, you have to bring it in before 9 o'clock on Monday. And so one of them did come in and give us their driver's license, so we were able to count that one. We have moved within county, voted at the wrong polling location. As we looked at the ballot of the one they received versus the one they should have gotten, there were no partial counts in those 7. We have a voter voted at the wrong polling location. They either were unable or unwilling to go to the correct place. There's 13 of those. Also no partial counts in those.
Explain to me again the no partial counts.
Is we looked at their ballot that they would get at their residential, and then and then what they voted, and those races were the same on both ballots. We have a voter voted in advance, then voted at the polling place. That's really the only reason in Elvis for us to use. There isn't a good description there, but what it was is they were sent a ballot by mail. They either did not receive it or did not vote it. We are able to track those to see if we get those back in our office. We, however, did not get their advance ballot back, so we recommend those be counted. Those are 47. We have 10 that moved within the county, did not complete the new voter registration card, but they did sign the poll book under their new information. So according to statute, those can be counted. There's 10 of those. We have 16 that have a name change, and those are recommended to be counted. We have 14 that are clerical errors, and clerical errors, there's a number of reasons. It is sometimes when a person's name is hyphenated or apostrophe or something like that, it's hard to their driver's license doesn't always pull up with our system. So if they manually searched them, maybe they weren't able to find them. So whenever they can't find them, we asked them to vote them provisionally, and then we're able to research that, and we were able to find those 14. So they were worked provisionally and should not have been. And then we have, these are not provisional ballots, the next 2. They are our presidential only ballots that we need to count. There's 4 of those. We need a board to be able to do that. So since we had a board here today, we just saved them for today. And then we had 1 advance ballot that came back Friday, late afternoon, after we had done all of the ballots that we had gotten in the morning. Obviously, we don't want to count 1 ballot by itself, so we waited till we had a board to come in. So you know, it's separate, not separated out. So we recommend those be counted. So those are the 350 that we have.
Okay, have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
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 That passes. Okay.
Okay, and so we have 185 of the voter was not registered either in Kansas or in Saline County. Those are recommended to not be counted.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot of
That's,
people.
that's normal in a presidential
In-
year,
okay.
because you think we have a lot of voters that only turn out in every 4 years or every even year, and they had maybe moved to Saline County, some of them 2 years ago. I mean, there's different reasons throughout, but they didn't get registered by the October 15th deadline, so.
Are they surprised? I mean, like, what?
No, one of them probably had even canceled their registration. They had filled out a form to be taken off the voter rolls, actually just last year, and then came in and wanted to vote on the presidential race. So, I mean, so they're not registered in Saline County, so obviously we can't count those. So there's a gamut of different reasons why people aren't registered. We had 5 ballots that were returned with a late postmark. So as long as an advance ballot is postmarked on or before Election Day and received in our office by Friday, we are able to count those. However, these had dates after the 5th, so we were unable to count those. We had 2 voters that failed to provide photo ID. We did contact them, but did not come in before this morning. We had 1 ballot an advance ballot that did not have a signature on it. Like I said, we contacted all of these voters trying to get them in so that we could count them. They did not come in prior to, that one, the signature did not match. And then we had 2 that were missing signatures, and we did contact all of them to come in and remedy that. We have 1 ballot that the voter cast their advance ballot, then passed away. The law does not allow us to count those because they are not electors as of Election Day.
I don't think
that's
never
that's
seen it.
actually probably the first one in the almost 30 elections that I've done that we haven't been able to count. But yeah, we had 12 that were voters that moved out of county and did not re-register. So they came in, Saline County voted provisionally. However, they had given addresses to McPherson, to Ottawa, to other counties, so we're not able to register them because they're not electors of our county. And then we had 1 voter that voted in advance and then at the polling place. Actually, he voted at the polling place, then changed his mind after his ballot went through the tabulator, and then wanted to vote provisionally to make his corrected choice. Obviously, we can only count 1 of those ballots, and the first one that he sent through was the one that was already counted, so we can't count that. So 210 of those that are recommended to not be counted.
Makes your motion, we accept it.
Second.
Got a motion, a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes. That one voter, that was for you. He decided to change his mind.
Yeah, I had to write it, but I forgot who it was.
So our next group are partial counts. So we had 33 that either moved within county or voted at the wrong polling place. That are partial counts. Obviously, in a presidential year, the biggest thing that are the difference throughout the county, because we have 56 different ballot styles, are the House races and the county commission races, and then township races. So, so we have 33 of those that we recommend being partially counted.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes.
And then our last one is a maybe that is up to you, to the Board of County Canvassers, directly, because I don't have a recommendation. This is one that was moved within county. They moved within county, but they registered at the UPS store, which is not a residential address. And so I have a maybe. It is an address within Saline County, but it's not a residence. So.
There isn't anything that says you have to have a residential address?
Well, you have to list a residential address.
Okay.
Now, we have instances where people are homeless or people are in RVs that is a residential location, but this is actually at a box. So we don't have a precinct we don't know where to precinct this voter
And to
at.
think if this all happened and the person had just moved, and so they, in the meantime of moving, they put this as an address because they didn't have nowhere else to live yet, so I can see that, yeah.
We do have a lot that you have an option of putting in a residential address, so where you live, and then having a mailing address. And this was listed as the residential address, not at their mailing address.
Well, if we err, we probably ought to err on the side of counting it, I think.
Yeah.
You got an opinion?
Yep, I agree with mine.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that passes.
And then just for information, we had 23 ballots that were returned as undeliverable. We do try to contact them. And, you know, usually it's people that moved, bad addresses, and ballots can't be forwarded. So we'll still research those and try to get a good address for the voters after the election as well. And that's
Okay.
all I have.
Well, great job as always.
That's right.
Thank you.
I like to keep these things because I show them to people that things are on board, on the level.
Yeah, yeah.
I can keep this by.
Yes,
by the way,
absolutely.
public knowledge.
Yep, yep.
Can I have a pen, please? Can I borrow your pen? Thank you, sir.
And then we have a board upstairs that are currently processing all of these, and then we'll get the results to sign for you. And then I just want to put a thank you out to not only the hard work of the election
Yeah,
workers,
right.
my office, many of the offices throughout the county who have reached out and helped me in lots of ways, whether it's lending me a staff person or whatever, and then to all the citizens in the community that turned up. So went well. So
Good. Well, I know as a board, we appreciate your workers and we appreciate you and, you know, the people that helped. It's a big undertaking, and, you know, usually with a general election, we'll just, or not, you know, just a regular election, we'll see a 18 to 20% turnout. This one here is 65, and if you walk through that hallway up there at times, it was like, wow. So anyway, yes, really appreciate your guys' hard work.
Do you, I'm sure you do, have the number of, with so many early ballots being cast, do you have a record of how many voted in each precinct on the day of election? I'm sure you do, but at what point do you weigh that to decide whether that precinct even merits that? I mean, if you're talking single digits or something.
and whether a
Is
precinct,
there, yeah. If a precinct had such a decline in the day of voting, that you decide there's too much effort to even have that as a,
at a voting location.
yeah.
So most of it is looking at not the cost of having that precinct, so the cost of the equipment that's required and everything out there. I look at that every election. And like I said, from the time when I started doing elections, we had 46 precincts. We had 46, well, not precincts, voting locations. We're down to 27 throughout the county, which is, most of those are in town. But, you know, we have about 11 that are out in the county. So those are kind of hard to, even though those are actually our smallest amount of voters in those different locations, you think of the mileage that they would have to drive to get to another place. So that's all taken into consideration. So, yeah, we look at that all the time.
Okay. Get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
In a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. That passes. Thank you guys for showing up.
Great job.
Appreciate it.
Hi, Mike.